What's up? I'm Tatani, and on my channel I kind of talk about whatever I want to and hope it finds people who care. So today my thoughts are that where you find oppressed people, stop being shocked when you find toxic people in that group of oppressed people. It's interesting to me how we expect oppressed people to act like saints, to kind of like prove their worthiness of being treated like humans. It makes it really hard, to follow white moderates, to follow white progressives, because this is something they don't seem to understand. And so today, the reason that this set me off was a David Pakman show about a extremist of some sort that Bernie had in one of his rallies. David Pakman was talking about how this is the one thing you can't trust about Bernie is that he'll have these extremists, these people who are hell-bent on their beliefs, etc. They've been through enough that they just kind of have some extreme beliefs, a few of them. And my thing is when you are on this outer fringe, welcome to it. Hey, David, welcome to it. When you're here, you have to understand people are broken out here. People are tired out here. I don't know much about the man that he was talking about. I think it had something to do with Israel. I don't agree with most anything that Israelis believe, their government believes, their government perpetuates. I don't agree with any of it. But I'm still here to say it doesn't surprise me that some Jews have extremists. I mean, given their histories, oppressed people, you're going to expect them to not be perfect. Hello. They're not going to be perfect. It's hard out here to be oppressed. It's tiring out here to be oppressed. It is a source of privilege most of the time to not fall for this. And it is a source of extreme exhaustion, effort on your own personal part to not become an extremist, to not become so fed up, to not just say things that your community will understand, but that can easily be weaponized against you by the white community, which, I mean, let's be real, is a lot of things. It's very easy to have it thrown back in your face by the white community because they will absolutely conflate 100 years of lynching to one time of somebody saying the word cracker. They will absolutely. Your ancestors being followed along, beheaded, and that head being up on a stake for 35 years will be equated to somebody having a slightly skewed view on white people after the oppression that they faced. But the thing I want to highlight isn't that it's totally appropriate or that these ideas that extremists have are peaceful. I'm somebody who's trying to really, focus on peace over everything, which at times has to, it confronts my own paradigm of who I am racially, who I am sexually, who I am gender-wise, nationally, religiously, etc., etc. But it's we have to come to a point where we understand people are not going to be perfect. When you're trying to help oppressed people, people are not going to be perfect. People are not going to be totally understanding, totally educated, totally on your side, because it's not always about the facts. Sometimes it's about pure experience. My experience is oh yeah, people will say in the comment section, we're all one race, we all bleed red. But in my reality is that my people get oppressed, and is that we need to take drastic measures, is that we need to do this. So I think it's a sort of privilege that white people who are clearly not people of color, because even when you're racially ambiguous, that means you're a person of color, right? That means that you're somebody who's not classified as white. And so there's a specific thing that kind of goes with that classification, which says that, you know, you don't have those privileges as somebody who passes as white, as somebody who is white, and that they get to dictate kind of your behavior. You know what I'm saying? They get to have all these privileges and then act, look at me, I follow the rules. Look at you. You've become so angry. Who can listen to such an angry person? And it's so annoying to witness, because it's the toxic people deserve to be saved too. The uneducated deserve to be saved too. The ratchet, people who are too loud for you, the people who butcher English because fuck English and fuck the Queen, fuck Spanish, fuck their monarchy, fuck it all. Fuck all the colonizer language, French included, Italian included, all of them. Fuck them all. Fuck them. We're going to just, have our own slang, have our own, languages that are built off of these oppressor languages. That's why I love Ebonics so much. It's kind of the ultimate fuck you. It's, you made us speak this language, but I will do with it whatever with this language that I please. And there are rules to it. So, random white people can't just throw in slang whenever they feel like it. It's obvious when you don't know the rules to Ebonics. So yeah, it's so telling. And it's not to say I hate David Pakman or the Pakman Show. It's not that I say I hate all the white moderates, all the white people who are trying to better themselves and speak for these movements and try to be progressive. But it is to say you do speak from a place of privilege when you don't recall that, yeah, you're fighting for people who aren't perfect. You're fighting for people who are absolutely toxic, and it's for good damn reason. They've experienced enough things that have made them wary, that have made them cautious, that have made them like, I need to think twice, I need to speak twice, I need to say what our people are feeling. And sometimes it's not even what you're speaking for yourself, you're speaking for the community, you're speaking for people who understand this oppression. So yeah, when you're with a community that's oppressed, expect people who are toxic, expect people who have been burdened, expect people who are just fucking sick of it, because they're there and it's real. It's real. It's hard to live like this every fucking day. It's hard to, sometimes forget and then have somebody remind you at the grocery store, or somebody remind you online, or somebody remind you in some other place. And you're like, wow, like, yeah, I was just living like a human, but you've just reminded me why you can't live like a fucking human. You have to live understanding your blackness. You have to understand it, because all of it is anti-blackness, even when black people aren't even involved. It's all anti-blackness. So, when there's an oppressed situation, expect toxic people, and don't just dismiss the whole movement because oppressed people have to be perfect. Oppressed people have to be perfect. The fucking oppressor gets to be the most toxic, the most abusive, but then the oppressed person has to be so perfect so as to deem themselves worthy of not being oppressed. It's disgusting, and I'm sick of it. And I just feel like it perpetuates more of the same. You think you're being fair by being like, oh, Bernie also has toxic people, but it's like the toxic people he has are oppressed people. So yeah, they're not all comfortable like you are. I'm sure you're pretty comfortable. You're not, the worries you have are worries that the average person doesn't have, that the average person of color doesn't have. Thinking from that perspective, I don't like it. It's hard. It's hard trying to be in tune with white people in politics, in tune with white people in these cultural issues, in tune with them in these communal issues, because they are expecting this standard of living that is like, it's not fair. It's not fair. It's there's equality, there's equity. There's a way of making it so everybody starts from the same place, even when they're not really starting from the same place. And then there's understanding some people need a boost because of historical differences. There's understanding some people have been oppressed so long that they're not going to be thinking straight. They're going to be thinking from a place of survival. Anyways, that's what I had to say on that. May your ancestors and spirit guides be with you at every crossroads.